Welcome to Money Pit Boating. If you're new here, I'm Mark, and this is our new to us Catalina 25 sailboat that my buddy Coots and I are trying to sort out because we want to try and sail to Australia, but we don't know how to sail. This seems like a great vessel to learn how to sail on, but there are some weird things going on with the boat that, quite frankly, we don't even know how to Google. We had the idea to show you all the weird stuff that's going on. So if there's anything sketchy or dangerous, then go down in the comments and tell us exactly what you're thinking, and we appreciate all the help that we can get. So we got the forestay on in what we think is the right position, but then there's also this clamp and this little series of holes. Is this thing actually in the right spot? Also, are these bends in these bolts a little sketchy? The front area of the boat has these weird cracks in it along the side right there and right there, and we're not sure what is going on with that. And if you go in here, it appears that something happened. We don't know if this thing fell down or if this just broke over time, but it's on both sides. And we're curious if that's normal and if that is related at all to these cracks. Also along the front of the boat, this is the bow locker. There are cracks going along all the sides that look to have been caulked over but broken. Should that actually be sealed, or is it fine without it? Also, what do you think those are from? We have the backstay attached to what we think is the right spot, but we don't know if anything is tensioned properly because this thing comes down and it kind of kicks out like that because this little pigtail supports the weight of the boom and it's pulling this in, so we don't know if we need to tighten that or not. How do you know if this stuff is tensioned properly? This one seems loose to us. This thing's kind of bent. Is this sketchy? Why are there two holes for the middle center stay area thingies? When we got the boat, these little holes had pins in them, but we removed them because they were sticking out so we could tension this. So when we actually go sailing, do we need to put the pins back in there? Or do people leave them out and then adjust this on the fly? Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button to see if we can actually get this thing to float or if we sink it. The mast just has two lines coming down off of it, which go to what we assume are the two halyards for the jib and the main. Is that normal to only have two lines, or do we need more? For the mainsail, we're thinking that we just clamp onto one of the halyards and then put all like the little cars in the track, and then this thing actually prevents them from coming back down and out. But the bottom corner of the sail, do we put it in this pin, or do we actually just tie it to here? If we tie it to here, do we just tie a regular old knot, or do we have to cleat this off somewhere? Like, what do people normally do? Also, it appears that there's another type of track system going down this side, but do we actually put the sail into there, or do we just leave it loose? Because don't you want a curve on it? This thing we think is the boom vang, and it's on this sketchy little bracket right here that kind of moves, and we're not sure if that's okay, and where to actually clamp this to. We were thinking about just doing it right down here to this same point there because this point's too small. This bracket kind of looks sketchy. There appears to be a lot of cleats all over the place on the mast, but nothing to tie them to because the previous owner actually did that, and he ran the lines back over to there so you could go up and down from the cockpit. Is that normal, or are we supposed to tie something off to these guys? Speaking of cleats, why is there a cleat on the boom, and why is it not symmetrical? The boom also has these little U-bracket thingies, two there, and then one right here going in the different direction. What are they? Why does the rear of the boom have a little pulley? The rear of the boom has this contraption. So the line goes from here around to there, over to here, and then through here. And it's to tighten it up somehow. Is this the out haul for the mainsail? And do we attach the mainsail to this thing and take out this blue line with the stopper knot and then just adjust accordingly with that and then just leave this thing dangling down? Or do we just leave this blue line with the stopper knot in here and then attach the sail anyways and then just have this stuff dangling down and then tighten it up when we need to? If we do attach the mainsail to this, is this the appropriate size? Because it seems a little small to me to have that much force going on it. On the back of the boom, we have the main sheet on a traveler system doohickey thingy, we think, with this block and tackle attached to here. But this thing goes to this bent metal bracket. Is this normal or safe, or is this thing supposed to be different? And why is it on like a quick release thingy? Is that safe? Because it seems like it could accidentally pop and then this thing could go flapping all around, people could get hurt. And that would not be fun. Also on this is the main sheet line, and it seems to be kind of old and frayed and dried out. And it actually kind of goes in a weird spot in this cam cleat and kind of bends them. Should this be thicker? On the back part, we actually have these two little white lines tied around on the traveler. What are they for? Because it seems like they don't do anything. Also on the rear of the boat, we have these two little vent thingies, but they're in different directions. This one faces forward, this one faces rear. This one has our electricity and gas line for our outboard motor, which is good because the gas tank goes into here, but shouldn't this thing be facing backwards so it goes in easier? Is there a reason why one of them is forward facing and the other is rear facing? This rear facing vent goes down below deck and then into that white line and then comes through this vent. Won't the water just splash in through the vent and then just go down into the bilge? We have these lovely little storage areas on either side of the cockpit, and this one has holes that are kind of like caulked up. Shouldn't those be cleared out so water can drain? There's some right there and there, but this one appears to be open. There's my finger. Should we remove the caulking from all these holes so that the water can drain out better? Our two halyards at the mast base are on these little pulleys, and this one is bent onto this screw. It's literally just a screw, like a metal screw going into the mast. And this one on a little bit of a bracket and a nice little swivel clamp. This one seems a lot more robust than this one. Do we need to replace this one or both of them, or what's the deal? The mast also features some lag bolts that are sticking up. They're not even going all the way down. That does not seem normal to me. Is there a reason why the previous owner didn't tighten them down all the way? On the inside of the boat, the battery is placed right in here next to where the bilge pump is, and this appears to be where a lot of water actually tends to locate itself. So where should we put the batteries? We heard that putting them forward is better so we can tack better. We also heard that some people put them over here just to free up room over here, and this appears to be one of the driest areas on the boat, unlike this place or this place or that place and that place and that place and this place and this place and that. We got water issues. Our two halyard lines run through these little cam cleats, but these things bend up and don't really close properly. I always thought these things would have worked a lot better, but see how like kind of jank it is? This one seems to work a little bit better, but then the lines go down here and winched, and then he kind of ties them off here, I guess. But there's some wear points in these two cam cleats. Kind of look a little sketchy because they're just attached with little nuts and bolts, and it seems like there should be some type of backing block and whatnot. Oh, and there's also this going on. The previous owner appeared to have redone the bulkheads because of the leaking issue, but not before there were some cracks that happened. We think that this is fine. It seems to be about 1/2 inch plywood, but is this piece of wood okay, even though it's kind of cracked and rotted out, and there's a gap right here? We don't know if that needs to be tight, but is that okay to support the mast that goes right there down into there? Because we don't want these cracks to open up or move. We have the anchor hanging on these little anchor holding brackets, but they're not really attached on that rail good. Should those be loose, or should they clamp down? Because it seems like they can just wobble out and then this thing will just drop itself and then The trailer that came with the boat features this nice arrangement that's rusted out, and this thing kind of just moves. And we were told that it was possibly a hydraulic braking system of some type. But the challenge with that is none of these lines are connected and there's no fluid, yada, yada, yada. Do we actually need a hydraulic braking system with working brakes, or can we just replace this with something normal and not have brakes? Speaking of the trailer, we have this lovely keel rusted on the bottom part of the trailer, and it goes all the way up into here, and it actually touches right up in there. But we have a challenge, because if you come with me onto the inside of the boat, after getting home from driving from Wisconsin to go pick it up, which was in our last video, which you can check out right here, we discovered that we have what we think popping through our hull is the actual keel cable, and that the trailer is not properly fitted. So how do we actually know how to fit the trailer to the boat appropriately so this thing doesn't slam up into the bottom? We actually purchased the swing keel version of the boat, so that actually drops down because we want to be able to explore shallow waters and also not hit anything. But we're not sure if we're going to be able to get the boat deep enough down the launch in order to actually get it off the trailer. Are we going to need an extension pole of some sort to hook up while we launch? If you made it this far in the video, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Hopefully your comments and suggestions and insight and expertise help us along the way in our journey to get this thing in the water and learn how to sail. If you want to see us pick this thing up from our adventure to Wisconsin from Michigan, click on the top video right here. And if you want to check out to see what happens with this thing, check out this playlist down here when it becomes available. Thank you again. And here we go.